more weather whiz kids tonight.
Yeah, and I think the current events have sparked a lot of interesting questions.
From all of us, Scott, for that matter. We've been glued to the TV all day.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting day of watching the developments back east, and it's a horrible situation what's going on back east, but we can certainly learn a lot by watching. If it's going to happen, we can see how things are affected here. We certainly have learned a lot by what has happened because it's been a very rare occurrence going on up in the Northeast. So, as I mentioned earlier, I was at Pioneer Elementary School earlier today and speaking to some of the kids, and here's one of the questions from one of our Weather Whiz kids. It's very, very timely.
Hi, my name is Keegan, and I go to Pioneer Elementary. My question is, do hurricanes form only over oceans or seas?
Keegan, that's a great question. Do hurricanes form only over oceans and seas? Pretty much. To get a hurricane, you have to be over water that's 80 degrees or warmer. That's pretty warm water, and that's why hurricanes are forming down towards the tropics where the water is warmer. Typically, the water's cooler up here, but once that storm gets going, it can curve to the north, as we had in this case, but as it gets further to the north, they tend to lose their tropical characteristics, but very seldom do they come back in to the East Coast, as has been the case here with this particular storm system. So you do need to have 80-degree water for the hurricanes to form, but coming off the coast of Africa, here's the U.S., this is Africa, you can get a wave, the easterly wave that comes through. So that's really the beginning of it, but the hurricane itself doesn't form until it stays out over these waters here, typically curving back around towards the east. Now, Roland had a great question as well. Keegan, that was a phenomenal question. Roland's question is just a good one. I'm just giving you a hard time here, Roland. Something that I wanted to talk about here is the storm surge. Notice the shape of what we've got here. All this water pouring in actually gets funneled in, and that's why we knew the strongest storm surges would be here, even on the other side of Long Island. Long Island's blocking the waves here. That water funnels right on through, and New York City, we're talking about a storm surge of 14 feet as it moved on in. And when we talk about a storm surge, here's typical sea level. The high tide normal is a couple feet higher than that. There's the storm surge, again, that funneling of the water, and then you add in the tide on top of that, or the waves crashing in over it. You get this huge change in water. And what basically happens with the earth here is you have the sun here. When you have a full moon, you have a higher tide because the full moon is always opposite the sun. Both of them have a gravitational pull, bulging the water on both sides. It is stronger, and so as the earth spins under that bulge, that's where the high tide is, and a moon high tide is much higher. Worst case scenario for New York City, guys. Yeah,
it really
Seriously,
is.
I mean, who would think, this would happen exactly at a full moon?
Yep. Perfect storm.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Well, the storm pounding the East Coast